This is the problem child scarf, at least in my opinion. Looks like I got a little, like I got a jellyfish in there. Hello everybody. I apologize for my voice and for all of this. I am sick, but I really need to film this before I get rid of all these. I actually already gave away something that I made, so I'm hoping, I think, that I have some video clips. I did a previous podcast and I just never ended up posting it. And now I feel like it's been too long. So I might insert clips or different videos and just do this voiceover from my old video if I don't have things anymore. Or I don't know where I put them. Okay, so I actually have quite a few finished objects because I did a lot of gift knitting. I definitely did not get done everything I wanted to. I way over committed to what I thought I could do. I was going to try originally for my kids' teachers to make all of them scarves, and I just didn't get there. I literally got done with the last scarf maybe a couple days ago, and I have to give it to them today. So unfortunately, one of my kids' teachers, I'm just going to go get regular gifts that were not hand knitted, which is okay. I'm a little disappointed in myself, but what are you going to do about it? I don't feel comfortable waiting to give them the gifts until we get back from the holidays. I don't know. I just don't feel that's right. Maybe other people would disagree, but I don't. So what I'm going to do is show you the 4 scarves that I did get done, and then I'm hoping I have one hat that I made for the surrogate baby that I had back in February. I don't have it with me. I think I have a picture of it. I'm pretty sure in the last time I filmed, I did show it. So when I talk about it, I'll include video clips of that and or a picture of what it should look like if I don't already have a picture of it. As I'm filming this, the person will not have it yet. So it's not like I can be like, hey, can I get a picture of the hat on said child and then like blur out their face? I can't do that. So anyways, let's get into the scarves. Okay, a few of these I still have to weave in just a teensy bit of the ends, but I think I should be okay other than that. And I did really want to steam block one of these. I just didn't get around to it, so I'm hoping the person is not totally offended that it's a little crinkly, I guess. So let's get into the one I got done first. This is a room with a view. So this is what it looks like. This is the wide version of the scarf. And this is in Lion Brand Heartland. I don't remember the name of which one this is. I think it's Kings Canyon or Sequoia. I can't remember which one. I get this one and the other one mixed up, but I will definitely obviously put down what it is over here. But this one I got done. This is it in half, obviously. This one wasn't that hard. Once you get the pattern of like pearls and knits and whatnot, it's actually really easy. This is very soft. This is for one of the male aides that are in one of my kids' classes, and I think it's really pretty. I like the variation of the color in this yarn, and it's 100% acrylic so that it's very easy for them to wash and take care of, and I think they're really gonna like this one. The next scarf that I got done is a much skinnier one. I could have done it a little bit bigger, but I just didn't want to do that. So this is called the Rippenshcal scarf. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I think it's German. Could totally be wrong, but this is the pattern of it. So it just starts out like this, and that's literally the pattern for the entirety of the scarf. Now, the end here, I did add a little bit because there's ends right here. So I just added a little bit of just the ribbing pattern at the end because I wanted it to match the other part. But again, all 4 of these scarves are in the same Lion Brand Heartland yarn, just in different colors. And again, I'll put down what the colors are over here. But this is kind of a green color, again, with some variation in it. Very, very nice. I love this scarf. And again, this one, I used a chart, and I did have to look at the chart every time that I was making this. For a lot of people, they say, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people. The pattern itself said once you get the idea of what the scarf is, for some people, they might not need to use the pattern because you're just kind of moving the cables every time. But I just wasn't confident in myself for that, and I didn't want to screw it up. So like I said, I did use the pattern the entire time, the chart that it comes with, but I feel that the chart was very easy to use. I don't think it was difficult, and I'll talk about a different scarf that had a chart that I didn't use later, but this one I felt was really easy to do. Again, very soft, 100% acrylic, and I really like this scarf. I think I don't intend on making a scarf for a very long time because I feel like scarves are just, especially if they have, I don't know, scarves just take forever and it can become very monotonous depending on what you're doing. I'll talk about the third one here in a minute, that I will never touch that again, ever in my life. And I actually made it a little bit shorter than it probably should be because I couldn't stand it. But this one wasn't too bad. I actually wouldn't mind this one. And this is for another male teacher aide that is in my child's class. This is the problem child scarf, at least in my opinion. Is it very pretty? Yes. Should I have blocked it? Probably. Do I care at this point? Not really. This one is a tiny bit smaller, shorter, I should say, than the other scarves, and I gotta weave in some ends, but again, that should only take me like half an hour this morning, and then I'm gonna drop them off at my kid's school. This is the Jasmine scarf by Pearl Soho. Now, this uses a different yarn. This is a DK weight yarn. I believe it's still Lion brand, I think. I honestly can't remember what all of these are made of, but again, it'll be over here. But yes, this is the Jasmine scarf. Now, the issue that I had with this is maybe because it was DK, and in all honesty, the pattern is very, very easy. Once you understand, it's just 2 rows back and forth over and over and over. And I'm not sure if it's because of the monotony of just doing the exact same 2 rows over and over and over. And I mean for forever for a scarf, that I couldn't stand it. I think this is one of the scarves that caused me to kind of get behind on my making, because I was like, okay, I need to get this scarf done. I need to get it done. But then things would come up and I had no motivation to do this. I don't know what it is about this one, but this one, again, like I said, it's still a relatively decent scarf length, but it could have been much longer. And like I said, I didn't like block the ends. I didn't try to block the sides to open it up or anything. I just hope that they still like it. I still think it's a really pretty pattern, and the yarn is very soft. So I'm hoping that they still like it. This is for, there's 2 teachers in one of my kids' rooms because it's a special ed room. And this is for, I guess, like you would say, like the not main teacher. So there's one teacher that mainly works with my kid, and then there's another teacher in there. This is for the secondary teacher. I hope they still like it. I think it's still pretty, but you know, I don't know. I hope that they still like this, but that is the Jasmine scarf. The last scarf still needs to have its ends weaved in. This was the most complicated scarf. This one did come with a chart. I did not follow the chart. I'm very thankful it came with written word instructions, because I found the chart to be a little confusing, in all honesty. And it was one of the type of things where I didn't want to screw it up. And I don't have a picture of it, but what I ended up doing is, well, let me say what it is first. So this is the Love Me Not scarf by, I think, Ari Palmer. And I I think this is super pretty, as you can tell. It is, quite complicated lace scarf. This is back in the Lion brand Heartland, so it's worsted weight. The 3 were in worsted weight, except the Jasmine scarf. That one was DK, but this is super, super pretty. But what I ended up doing was I would take, so this is it is a paid pattern, so I won't say, obviously, I'm not going to say how to do this. I can't. It's too complicated. However, It is, I can say that there's 28 rows per section of the lace pattern. And what I would do is I put a lifeline, a yarn lifeline in row 1, and then I did row 15 because row 14 was the back, so whatever. So row 1 and then row 15, and then obviously once I was done, back at row 1. So I did a lifeline every, 15, 14 rows or so, because I was afraid that if I had to pull back, because I did have to when I first started this, I had to pull back a couple times and just start over, because I'm not at the level where with this complicated of a pattern, pull back and then try and figure out where I am, how to get it back in, because there's cables twisted and yarns over and all this stuff. So I figured it'd be so much easier for me to just set lifelines. I put, where the lifelines are per section, per whatever. And then that way, if I had to rip back, I could just rip back to the line, which I did maybe once or twice towards the end of this. And then I wouldn't lose so much of my work and just get frustrated, because I honestly didn't have the time to do it. But this is so pretty. And I have to say, like I said, this does have a chart with it. If you're very good at following charts, I thought this one was a little bit complicated in how it set the chart up, because it had a right side and a wrong side, obviously, because it's knit flat. But the chart itself had it where it was all the same, but then you had to read it as in, like, for example, it said, like, for example, like, row 1, the right side, like a circle is a purl, but then when you read it on the wrong side, the circle becomes a knit. And so for me, that was just too weird. I wish they would have changed it on the pattern, on the chart. I don't know if that makes any difference, but like I said, this one has written instructions for the entirety of the scarf for the 28 rows. So I just followed that the entire time. I used a Knit Companion on my laptop or on my phone. And on Knit Companion, which I'll link down below, you can use a highlight feature. So what I would do is just blow up the pattern to where the row, like where each row would take up kind of a big space on my phone or on the laptop. And then I would use the highlight to highlight which row I'm on, use that, and then just move it down as I went. So this is definitely not an easy one. It's not going to be a mindless knit. This definitely takes a lot of focus. But if you just follow the pattern, it's honestly not that hard. And this part here, where you have the cable overs, it is a little bit complicated at first, but she includes a YouTube video showing you very easily how to do them with your cable needle. So you can either use 2 cable needles or just 1 cable needle. I just use 1 cable needle because I only had 1 in that size. And it honestly is not that hard. And once you've done it a couple times, you won't need to have the YouTube video every time to know how to do it. It becomes pretty understandable. You know what you're doing. But I have to say, I think this is my favorite one. I really hope she likes it. This is for my child's main teacher. They've had them for 2 years now, and I really hope that they like this. I think it's gorgeous. I love this color. I just think it's so pretty. So those are the scarves I intended to, and I even tried to, but then I got very sick. I intended to start some, I'm gonna pull this. I intended to start some headbands for the other teachers, which was just gonna be this simple, so this is just a tube, and then it's gonna go around like this, and then just do like, the twist, like a twist headband. I intended to start those a couple days ago and get them done. However, with getting very sick and a lot of other things going on, I just didn't have the time to get them done. I feel really bad about it, but I know that teachers don't necessarily expect people to be hand making really, nice things for them. But I am going to get some gifts for those teachers and just give them something kind of cute and nice for this year. When it comes to teacher appreciation, then I can make them something a little bit nicer and either knit or crochet something. But yeah, in all honesty, I'm a bit disappointed in my productivity and my timing, planning, all of that. I just did not get done what I wanted to this year. And I have to say that I feel like, in a sense, I'm not saying that like my holidays have been ruined or anything by doing this, but I feel like I put so much pressure on myself to get so many things done that it meant I was just really knitting a lot of the time when I kind of almost didn't want to, and it made it not that fun. Now I'm gonna go ahead, finish up this headband and probably just keep it myself. I might even make a few because it's honestly pretty easy to do, and I could probably use a third of this cake, bring it in my purse with me, and just make some cute headbands because, again, very easy to do. So I'll probably finish it, but for sure, starting next year, I'm not going to hand make any gifts for teachers or other people. I think what I'm going to do is, I saw another podcast, I think it's M to the Third, but I think it's their sibling energy that they have with their friend Tim. I think it's still on their channel. I'll link them down below. But she was mentioning how Tim was asking her, Mackenzie, does she do gift knitting? And what she said is that she does it for her family. However, she does a lottery each year. So there's a certain number of people that are knit worthy for her. And every year she picks somebody to make something for them. So one year mom gets picked. She's gonna knit her a sweater. One year, whoever else, sister gets picked. Somebody, she has a group, and then every year somebody gets something. Now you could do every year one person gets picked and they get a bigger item, or you could maybe pick two people and then do like smaller items. But that way you're limiting yourself so that you're not stressing out about getting a bunch of gifts done for a bunch of people that might not even appreciate them, because it's a lot of time. Even something as simple as this headband takes a good couple of hours. And I mean more than, for me, this took probably at least, I don't know, 2-3 hours. I just kind of do it off and on when I can, but I would say in total it's been at least 2 to 3 hours, if not more. And then I still have to put it together. And I know that doesn't seem like a long time, but it really can be, unless you start super early. But definitely for next year, I am cutting down. Definitely next year, I am cutting down on my gift knitting or crocheting and just kind of keeping it much more simple, because I was very stressed this year, and then I just felt a lot of disappointment, which I don't think I should feel that way. So, but this is going to be a headband. I'm still working on it. Should be done probably. I'll finish it over the holiday vacation that we're going to take. Might even get it done today if I end up having some time to do it, but definitely will not get it done and have enough time to make it 2 more for the other aides in that classroom. So that's that. And obviously I put on here what this is, but this is just the same Lion brand Heartland yarn. I actually really like this yarn. I think this yarn is really nice, soft for an acrylic yarn, and it's a pretty good price, especially if you can get it on sale at Joann's or something like that. The next item I don't have that I finished, which is a Pixie Balaclava hat. I'll either put the designer photo here, or I'll insert a clip here of me talking about that or showing you from the last podcast. I'm pretty sure I did show it in my last recording of what this podcast should have been. But it's just really cute. I use the same Lion brand worsted yarn. I think it's actually the same color as this maybe, because I bought so much of this yarn to make other scarves for the teachers that I never made, so I have a bunch of it left. And I made it for a baby who's going to be 10 months approximately when they get this. And I really like the pattern. It was relatively easy to make. It does have, you have to sew in the back using like a Kitchener stitch, sort of a doohickey. And honestly, it didn't take me that long to make. The reason I ended up making that balaclava instead of just making a bonnet is I figured at 10 months old, they're on the move, they're pulling things off, they might not want to wear a hat all the time. And if you just had a hat that just either went over their head or tied or something, I felt that they could probably pull it off. Whereas with this balaclava, it pulls over their head and then it comes down, to about here. So especially for this person, because they live in a big city. So as far as I know, the parent does not even own a car. So they stroller or carry walk everywhere they go. And so they almost always have like their thick coat on, especially in the winter because they're in a colder climate. And I figured that that way, once they put it on, they can put the coat over it and kind of zip it up, or if they have a scarf or whatever, and then that will keep it in place. Plus, it's just so cute with like the little Pixie, and it's ribbed, so that means it's gonna stretch really well. This one had 3 sizes, and I believe I made the middle size, and I figured that should be able to get them through the rest of this winter. It might even fit them into next year. I honestly, like I said, I believe I did the 12 to 24 month size. And I tried it on my 4-year-old's head, and it stretched enough to get on there without ruining it. So it's definitely gonna fit their head. I don't think it's gonna be too big for them, but I would honestly make more. If I had little kids right now, I would make more of these. You can use, it's worsted weight yarn, so it's gonna be nice and thick. If you live in an area where it's gonna be cold, it's definitely gonna be very nice for them. So I would definitely make more of these again if I had a child to give them to. I just thought it was really, really cute. So that is, I believe, the last finished object that I have. Okay, so I technically already showed you one whip that I'm doing right now, which is this little ear warmer, which I intended to get done and give to someone, but not gonna happen, so I'll probably just keep it for myself. So that is one whip that I'm working on right now. The second whip that I'm working on, let me get. Okay, the next whip that I have, I am going to be starting soon. However, it's gonna kind of be a background thing, which is actually crochet. I have almost none of it done. So I am going to be crocheting this heart blanket as a teacher appreciation gift for my one child's teacher. Like I said, they've had the same teacher for 2 years. She is just an absolute gem of a teacher, one of those teachers that you are just blessed to have. And I cannot say enough good things about her. So I'm making this blanket. I literally only, and I'm making a queen size. So this is very long. It looks like, it looks like a jellyfish. Looks like I got a little, like I got a jellyfish in there. But yeah, I literally just started a chain, and I'm just doing doubled crochets right now. This is with the Brava worsted weight yarn from Knit Picks. I'm doing the main color in this cream, which honestly almost looks pinky to me. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but in person it almost has a pink tint to it. And then I have, like here you'll see, that's where the crochet hook went. I have just literally Roy G. Biv rainbow colors for all the heart rows that go through it. So that is something I'm going to slowly start working on so that I can get it done by the time teacher appreciation happens. That is the only one that I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be making anybody else anything for teacher appreciation. Maybe I'll make the other teacher something since they didn't get a holiday gift and I feel bad about it. But I definitely cannot be making them a blanket too because that's going to be way too much work. But so this will be, other than one other project, which I don't have the yarn for right now. I don't actually know where I put it, but I'll talk about that in a minute. That is a just started thing. I'm going to probably just take it with me in the car or wherever I'm going and just pull it out when I have a minute to work on it. It's definitely gonna be I can only work on it at home or in my car or in a place where I can like sit and set it out because it's gonna be a big blanket eventually, so I can't just like take it on the go with me. It's gonna be way too much. I mean, technically I could hold this like, and then, but that's just gonna be too much. So this is gonna be a long-term project that I'll work on. I will keep you guys updated along the way how I am doing. The next whip that I have, I literally just got to put in my purse for on-the-go knitting, and it's honestly almost done, and I might make a few more of these. This is, and I have the yarn inside of it, this is just a fingering weight yarn cozy, and I am using 9-inch circulars. This is the first time I've ever used 9-inch circulars. I have to say they're not my favorite, honestly. They're not horrible to work with. However, they are obviously very, very, very small, and it is kind of difficult to use such small needles. I know there's some people who make socks and they say that 9-inch circulars are like the best. They wouldn't use anything else, but I have to say for me, it's a little difficult. I don't know, I'd probably still use them again just because of the convenience, at least for this project. I did have to start with magic loop on there because you start at the bottom with the little hole and then you have to increase. But once you get to a certain point here, this is a pattern from, I believe this is the Nitty Natty pattern of the Fingering Weight Cozy Lite. I'm just doing the ribbed version, just the plain, simple ribbed version. This yarn is a yarn that I got from Prismatic Fiber Artistry. I won a giveaway from them, and I got the yarn called Pegasus. And then this was an extra yarn that they included in. I want to say it was like Dragon's Blood or something like that. I could be totally wrong. But this was a little extra mini hank that they included, and I think it's just so pretty. So I've just been throwing this in my purse with me on the go when I'm at work. And if I have a couple minutes or whatever here and there, I pull this out, knit a little bit, and then I'm just using these cable locks from, I think it's Twice Shared Cheap. These are the small size, which work perfect for these mini tiny baby needles. And yeah, honestly, it's a really simple on-the-go project. It doesn't take very much yarn. Like I said, I'll probably finish, and I still have a ton of yarn. I can even make a second one. And what's nice about these is I just stick the yarn inside, and it stays inside. So that's it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yeah. I like this. It's an easy project. Tiny, baby, little easy project. Okay, the last project that I'm working on right now, which I started and then I just totally put on hold because of all of the gift knitting, but this is the start of the yoga winter sweater. I think that's the right way, or the winter yoga sweater. I can never remember which one it is. It shall be over here. Literally all I have is the collar, and I started a small amount of the German short rows on the back. I just started this because one day, is probably when I was working on that Jasmine scarf, I said, I'm done. I don't want to work on that anymore. I just want to work on something else. This is in a Red Heart Super Saver brushed worsted weight yarn. I believe the color is khaki. Could be wrong. Obviously, I'll have it down there. But it has a nice halo to it because it's brushed. And the only thing about this yarn is that this is just very, very cheap acrylic yarn that I got. I needed to use it up, so I'm going to use it up on this because I don't want to be wasteful. The only thing I would say is because of the way this is brushed, and this might be a me problem, I don't know if anybody else has had this, I had used this originally for something else. And when I was trying to do a tubular or an Italian bind off for what I was using this for, obviously, because with the Italian bind-off, you have to have a very long string. And I felt that when I was pulling it through, the hairs were pulling on themselves. And so it was matting itself when you did the bind-off. And I felt it looked horrible. So what I'm hoping with this sweater is that it has a big V down the front. And that means that I'm probably not going to have to be using an Italian bind-off, because it's got such an allowance of room because of that big V. It's not just going to be a one round band that's just sucking you in. So I'm hoping that that's going to be okay, because if not, I can do it. It might not look as pretty, but hopefully on the bottom, you're not going to be able to tell as much. I will, but so literally this is all I have. That's it. We'll eventually work on this, but probably won't get it done until spring, and then I won't be able to use it until next year. But hey, 'tis what it is, right? But that is technically the second to last thing. I have one more thing I'm going to talk about, so give me a sec. Okay, the last whip that I'm doing, I do have the yarn somewhere. I can't remember where I put it. I started something, and again, I had to put it aside because I'm going to have to finish it probably while on vacation. It's my last gift knit that I'm finishing, and that is these mittens. They're the Taylor Swift mittens by, I think it's Knitting Lotta. I don't remember her actual name, but it's here. And these are a gift that I'm making for my surrogate baby's father. And they're a single parent, so it's not like there was a mother and a father and I'm not making the mother a gift. They're a single parent. But I wanted to make these. However, they are made on a size 0. I think it's a 2mm knitting needle, very, very small. And due to the chart that you use for it, it's not necessarily super complicated, but due to the colors that you're using, the black and the white, or like a black and cream color, because I just used the exact same colors that they did, I feel that if you just catch the floats in a normal way, because I did start doing the pattern a little bit, and I felt that catching the floats, especially when it was a larger white/cream section, you could kind of see the black coming through. I didn't really care for that. So I'm working on learning the jacquard ladder technique, and that's a little bit more complicated. I don't need to use it for the entirety of the mittens. There's only certain parts in one of the charts that I'm going to need to use it for, because one is just stripes. That one I don't really need to. I can just put a long float and that will be okay. But some of the chart I'm definitely going to need to. So I need to keep working on that. It's taken a little bit longer than I wanted to because of learning this new technique, and I want them to look nice when I give them to them. So I've already informed them that it's going to be late. I'll probably not get them until probably the end of January is my guess. But where they live, it's going to be cold for quite a while. So hopefully they can still use them and or hold on to them for next year. I don't think they're not going to be a Taylor Swift fan by next year unless she does something real horrible, because they are a big Taylor Swift fan. So I'm hoping I can get those done because they are really cool. It's not honestly super complicated chart. It's just making sure that they look very nice. So I'm learning this new technique, which just takes time. And then I need to take the chart and I try to print it. The person who teaches the jacquard ladder technique that I'm using, I will link down below. She does a really, really good job of describing it and showing how she uses her patterns and how she marks them. But I tried to do it with paper, and I think it's just going to be so much easier to do in my knit companion because I can highlight certain places with one color, another, and I can erase it long story short, I think it'll be easier to do a knit companion. So I'm going to do that, start that while I'm on my vacation, and then finish it up when I come back. So that is my next project that I'm going to do, but I'm not going to force myself to do it super quickly. I want to take my time and make them look really nice since the person already knows that the gift is going to be coming late. I know they don't even expect a gift, but I still want to do them. It's a really good challenge for me and a good, it allows me to learn some new techniques. I've seen another video by Mark, and I always forget what his last name is. I'll link it down below, his channel, overall channel. But he talks about, I believe it was him, it talks about using this jacquard ladder pattern or a technique. And also in the video where she teaches about the technique, she shows 2 different swatches of a colorwork sweater and shows what does it look like with catching floats, what does it look like with the jacquard ladder pattern or technique. And you can see a difference for sure, especially again, if you're using highly contrasting yarn colors, you can see the difference I can see somewhat of the catching the floats with just regular catching floats. And with a jacquard, you don't see that. It is a much more smooth looking, professional looking garment or whatever finished product. So, and it's not that hard to do, honestly. I've already started trying to do that. I just need to get it set up in the pattern. That's all. So I'm actually very excited to continue to learn about that because I think it'll be very beneficial for later when I start making more garments that are color work or just different things that I can use this technique and it will just look much nicer and I'll be much more satisfied with my finished products. That is everything that I have been working on as of late. Like I said, I'm just kind of happy to get all of this gift knitting out of the way and I can get back to myself and making things for myself. Like I said, I still have the one set of mittens and that blanket that I'm working on as gifts, but I'm excited about both of those and I'm happy to work on both of those. The rest of the things that I'm going to be doing, I'm not setting a timeline for anything. I'm just going to take my time because, again, like life has been very stressful for me as of late, and I want knitting to be a relief for me, an escape for me. I don't want it to be like, oh my gosh, I have to get this done by a certain time, and then I don't want to be knitting or crocheting, and that is not what it is. I want this as something that I like to do, that I can sit and relax on and kind of get back to loving this, because I have to be honest, the gift knitting really made me not like knitting as much. So we're going to get back to it. Everything is going to be fine. And I am going to weave in the ends of those scarves and then get them into little gift bags and drop them off at my child's school today. And hope everybody likes what they have. So I am filming this at like 4 in the morning. I'm tired, but you know what? We got things we got to do today. And yeah, I have a bunch of things. I actually have it with me here. I have this, and I have a bunch of other items that I have received from an advent calendar. However, I've decided that I'm going to make an entirely separate video talking about what I received from the 2 different advent calendars that I got this year, and make a whole video talking about the concept of advent calendars. Do I think they were worth it? Obviously just what items, because one of mine was just a pure yarn advent calendar, and the other one was more of a knitting tools and notions sort of calendar. And I want to make a whole video about that. So I'm going to save those for that. I haven't really received any other things other than a bunch of yarn for that blanket. So I don't really have any like notions or anything to show you. But yeah, so that is that. Obviously, by the time this comes out, most holidays will be over. I'm taking my time getting this out, but it should be out at least by the beginning of January. I want to know down below, did you guys gift knit anything this year or gift crochet anything this year? And if you did, what did you give people? And did you find it to become very stressful and have decided that 2025 is going to be your year of mostly selfish knitting or crocheting? Please let me know down below. As always, remember to subscribe. Now that I'm not setting up horrendous commitments and deadlines for myself, I should be much more comfortable taking time to edit and film and get videos out. I still have tons of ideas. I literally just put it on the back burner because I was so freaked out about this gift knitting. So more videos will be coming out in 2025. I'm hoping to get them out at least every other week, if not weekly. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.